Chris Nieuwenhuis, you did win yesterday the Super Prestige. You were ready for a double weekend?
Yes, I mean I knew I would double this weekend, of course, because we made the planning already quite a long time ago. And luckily yesterday wasn't that muddy, because last week or 2 weeks ago I could really feel the legs, of course, because of all the mud. So hopefully I'm a little bit better than then, but yeah, we will see.
Happy to see the track here in Flamanville?
Yeah, yesterday was a little bit faster, but there fell a lot of rain this night. So the heavy tires on the bike again, I feel happy, yeah.
No double weekend for you, that can be an advantage maybe during the race.
Yeah, I think so. Yesterday was really cold and hard, so it's hard for the body a day like that. And I was here on Friday already, so everything was relaxed. Did some good training yesterday, so yeah, I think I'm a little bit fresher than the other guys, but yeah, we'll see.
You, as the leader in the World Cup, you are in good shape to win today as well?
I hope so. Yesterday I didn't have a very good feeling, so I hope to find it today. It's a track that suits me really well, so it's a bit more muddy than last time, so it will be a slippery race.
Last time you won. This is much possible today?
Yeah, I hope so. It's something I really like, so there will be some fresh guys at the start today, so that's a little bit of wait and see, but yeah, I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to start in the leader's jersey, and hopefully to be in the front today.
Lars van der Haar, you just did the reckon. What do you think of this track?
That I hope that they ban the Rhinos. Then it would have been really nice. Now you have to go to the Rhinos, and I think the mud tire here on the straights is a disadvantage for the power. It costs a lot of energy, but I think it's a nice course. Just the final is not so nice like the last time.
Because they didn't come out of the castle like last time.
Yeah, that was a lot nicer, way nicer sprint. On the TV it looked amazing, and now you just do 2 laps in front of the VIP tent. It's not so nice.
Thibaut Nys, happy to see you here in Flamanville. You like to be here riding around the castle?
Yeah, it's great to be here. It's a super nice course. I think it's how a cyclocross course should be. It's nice. The best shape is not there anymore, but we just try to finish this off and then go on training camp.
So welcome to the Cyclo-cross World Cup, to the men's elite race here in Flamanville. It's round number 6. Apologies for a little bit of a late start, just a minor technical issue with some of the equipment, but I'm sure, like me, you were catching up with the action and with the interviews with our riders. A really different course. They've changed the start-finish area. They've also changed the way the course runs in a couple of the sections through the woods. It is quite quick, but we are now on to call up the riders in the second row, all lined up with Kevin Kuhn, Nieuwenhuis, Adams Verschura, Musen, Van Kessel, Rodier, and Verstringer on row 2. But the first rider called to the line on row number 1, it is Ali Isabit. So he win 2 second places and a 3rd place and a 4th place so far for him. Behind him, called to the line, Pim Roja. Now, Roja really is on form at the moment. Great ride in the European Championships, also in front of similar grounds as we've got here. Slightly more mud there, but looking good. 2 wins and a 3rd place to his name. Lars van der Haar, 1 win, 2 second places so far this season in the World Cup. Really is back on form, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do here today. I'm just going to pick his spot. Now, next up is going to be Lauren Sveek. Lauren Sveek, the 4th of our riders called to the line. The 2nd place, 2 3rd places for Sveek. He's been going well, but not necessarily on his best form yet. Now, the prodigal son makes his way to the line. Thibaut Nys, the next rider called up to the line. It's been a month for Thibaut. The question will be, can he pull it out here today on a course that may not necessarily suit all his skills? Let's see what legs he's got on with him today. Our next rider coming down to the line, Ryan Camp. Ryan Camp so far best this season is a 5th place. Will he be able to improve on that? Well, possibly so, but 9 of the top 10 riders are here today. And in fact, 14 out of the top 15 in the series overall are here in Flamanville. And that includes Niels van der Putte. Van der Putte coming down from the Alpecin de Koenig squad, and he'll be followed by Toon van den Bosch. Van der Putte's best, a 4th place so far in the season, and Van den Bosch an 8th place in the season. So the front row now complete with our riders down on the line. The race officials, the commissaires, will be making sure everybody is doing as they should. The press will be down, making sure they get as many images as possible. We'll be taking you through the action. My name is Matt Payne. Apologies for our late start here today, just due to a slight technical issue, but I'm sure you are grabbing those images as they came in. We're going to be taking you through all of the action, including, of course, our front row. So Toon van den Bosch from Belgium on a good season, a front row start for him, and he knows he's got fast riders behind. And he's got Kevin Kuhn right behind him. He's also got on row 2 Joris Jurnhaus, the teammate of the rider there on the line, and Jurnhaus actually just directly behind the series leader. That is how he is. But taking a quick look at the tyres, it's very interesting hearing Lars van der Haar, the national champion of the Netherlands, talking about tyre choices and what tyre to choose in this, and it's basically because of the rain overnight really gone in towards a full-on mud tyre. The Rhinos are very good at shedding mud. Nieuwenhuis has taken a little bit of a closer look. He's absolutely flying at the moment, very good when it gets technical. It's not got masses of elevation, this course, if you haven't seen our women's race. It is very similar in terms of course to last year, if you saw that. It is a course that basically has very little elevation gain. It is steep banks using the moat around the castle here in Flamanville in Normandy, up on the northwest corner of France. And all of our riders now, as the music starts to play, that we are going into countdown time. Our riders will start on the lights changing to green. The aim for our commentators to get the race distance at 1 hour. We have had a lot of short races which have come in underneath the hour marker, and we're going to see where that comes out today. The women's race bang on time. 50 minutes, 5 seconds for a 50-minute target time. Let's see what the rider's going to do. The riders are moving down on to those bars. They go on the green light. So here we go. This is about getting a quick start, and this is about making sure you go into that corner. Nisa doing a good move on the inside. He's not going to go through first wheel, but it's a left-hand turn as you come out from this straight, and it gets muddy pretty quickly. We're into the puddles, we're into the mud, and it looks to me like that is Kevin Kuhn, who's got a great start once again. We're going to take the left-hand turn here. And there's a number of lines at the inside, by far the quickest. The outside doesn't actually carry very much speed around the outside. But the mud definitely getting worse as the racing has progressed through the course of the day. Our juniors taking to the race first, and then it's our women's race now. A quick sort out for the riders to work out who's going to go where, quite what position they're going to be able to hold. Getting this start here, really critical on this course. All of the riders saying that they need to not lose any time at any point. It's not somewhere where you can accelerate up quickly, make time with a quick burst of speed. It's going to be all about making sure that you're in close contention. So I expect to see plenty of shoulder actions. Riders try not to lose the wheel, try and stay in position as much as possible. Everybody will want to be in the front of the race. They'll all want to be out of trouble and away from any issues, any gaps that open, any mistakes that people make. So you can see the course here. It's pretty solid. We're actually in the old part of the gardens of the chateau. This a double bridge. You've got the big bridge section here that the riders have to run up. You drop down, and then it's back up and over. The riders at the front. Kevin Kuhn gets some nice air as he goes over the top there, and basically going from the upslope to the downslope without bothering with the bit in the middle with the top of the tabletop. Brave move given the slippery nature of the course. I'm not sure he'll be doing that when we come towards the end of the race, but you never know. All right, his skills absolutely phenomenal. A little bit of gap starting to open up in the race at the moment. And Lars van der Haar with a little bit of a gap open in front of him here as we see a quick change of bike here. That's an interesting move as they go through there. So Kuhn, Van der Putte, Verstringer, Kamp, and now Castilla getting a great start right up in the mix. But this is certainly looking to me like Pim Raha right in the right place. So Joris Nieuwenhuis also moving his way up here. Kuhn with a good kick off from the start. Just seeing a move on the sides of there. Verstringer looking good at the moment for the Creedland Corridon squad. So a different line being taken as it came diving into that corner. Van der Putte going really tight running. You could see Kuhn going taking that slightly different, wider line. Already the rider's face is covered in mud here. Nieuwenhuis probably just a bit further back than we would have expected. A little bit further back than he would want to be at this stage. It's still early stages. Lawrence Fick a long way back down this race field at the moment, and that is not what he would be wanting to have happen at the moment. 16th place at the last check as they came through, but at the moment it's the man who's known for his quick starts, Kuhn, opening it up. At the moment, the riders to the north of the chateau across the Great Lake from the chateau itself. In the Feeder Lake for what is left of the moat, which only is on one side of the chateau at the moment. The separating the riders from the chateau. You can see just how close to the edge our riders are, just rattling the barriers, rattling the cameras on the way through. Great camera shot as these riders come around that turn. Now, really interesting line taken by Pim Ronhout there. Clearly wants to be closer towards the front. Didn't want delaying any more on the way through there. Going to be interesting to see how he continues to move up. Elizabeth at the moment just biding his time. He's a rider that says he's more than able to take a win, one win every weekend. That was his target. I wonder whether he'll be able to do that. He didn't take the win yesterday at Boom, so was he saving something for today? So bike a change for Kevin Kuhn. He takes a little bit of a look. Where's he going to come out? It's much drier. There's less mud in there. You're able to get the power down. There is a smooth line as well in the grass. It's a little bumpy on these fields as you come through, but looking like we're not losing too much time. Fast start from yesterday. Jens Adams not with that same quick start today as our cameras track back through the field here, but you can see lots of riders already going in, changing the bike. It does make a difference. Now Kuhn hugs what is his left right hand side with Van der Putte. You could see Raha moving across to a line that had been taken more during the women's line. Remember, of course, we've had the women's race in between these riders' practice time and the time that they get out on course. So this is really their first proper look at the course out on the bike since they were out in practice, and there's been plenty of racing in between. Great women's race. If you haven't seen it, please do have a watch. Really great action from the women's riders in the World Cup. At the moment here in the men's race, it is Kevin Kuhn who's leading this out at the moment. So down past the chateau. This is down in the moat. We ascend the steps. We do a U-turn at the top, and guess where we end up? Back down in the moat again. Fortunately, no water in there anymore. Only on the one side, I just mentioned earlier on. Our leading group of 5, just pulling a little bit of a gap out at the moment. But by no means is that going to be decisive as these riders make their way down. Now, there's some new ruts developed during the course of the racing on our next descent down into the moat. We use that fast section, the gravel section, to come back up on to the top of this banking. It's a long loop around the top here. It's not just a straight turn around, and then we come diving back down again. And some newer, deeper ruts than when the riders were out pre-riding this. Very interesting to see one or two of the riders deciding that the running speed was better than the riding speed. Quite often you'll see that the difference only pulls itself out when the riders go on to remount. And at the moment, Eli Isabit in that leader's jersey, well, he is in 9th place according to the computer screens at the moment in time. What we're seeing on our screens in front of us, Kuhn opening the throttles once again out here. He's going to be looking to take this out. So just look at the time differences between the riders who are bunny hopping, those riders who are choosing to run the planks, the barriers, the hurdles, depending on which nation you're in when you're watching this or what you use the term. In the UK, they're often known as hurdles, barriers or planks, depending on which part of the country you are in. And that is the same worldwide. There's no one universal race for them. But the speed difference not all that great because it's very difficult to keep the pace through them, and you can't just go absolutely hurtling in. You've got to use a lot of skill to get over the takeoff. Although it has dried during the course of today, it's definitely not the sort of solid takeoff platform that you would want to have as you make your way in towards them. You want to be able to really push off from the floor, go over the top and land it nice and securely. Is a bit diving up the inside there, just pressurising Lars van der Haar. Just a little bit further down that race field. That is that fight at the moment, just a little bit further back from the race lead. John Castillo continuing a good ride, currently in 14th position at the moment. You can just see Isabit and van der Haar battling it out. Isabit leading the series standings from Pim Ronhaar. Then Lars van der Haar in 3rd position. Winner of the last round, though, Pim Ronhaar on some really good form. Oh, is that a commentator's curse? It's not. It's Nieuwenhuis who's gone down. Not Ronhaar, just got around that corner in time, and it is Nieuwenhuis not like him to come down. He has been looking really, really strong, and that is a really tricky corner. Well, he rolled the bike up over the top. Always better to roll than come to a shuddering stop. As Van der Poel goes over, just keeping that front wheel up as he goes over the top of the tabletop, going over the walled section. On goes up there from Ronhaar, who's up in front of Kevin Kuhn. That's going to be going in to the pit this time round. They're going to be signalling across to their team when they want to go in and take that bike. In he goes now. Kuhn will have seen that arm go up. He'll know that Ronhaar's going in. Ronhaar was leading and Kuhn's trying to make the most of this. And that certainly looks like that shorter line is the main race route. Is fractionally quicker, but the rider's coming in to change bike. No surprise that Nieuwenhuis does so. Always better to change it once you've been down on the floor. You don't know what damage has been done. It won't necessarily show up, particularly when you're so close to the pit. But at the moment, as they come across between the two lakes, Kuhn and Ronhard. The battle at the front, first and second place of Van der Poel, Verstringen, Nieuwenhuis battling out behind it. It's Nieuwenhuis who's got the chasing to do. Very quick on his feet though round that corner, and immediately on his heels. You can see these riders really trying to stay in the battle. Ryan Camp currently the rider in 6th place. Thibaut Nice not got the fastest legs out to play at the moment. Will he be able to pick it up? Will he be able to use his skills? It's not an uber technical course. It's not an uber fast course. But it's got a little bit of everything in different places. So it's going to be a real test for the riders as they come up at that banking. Lots of different techniques employed, whether that's running or riding. Picking your line through there is going to be critical. Just a little mistake there by Kevin Kuhn. Just puts his foot down on the uphill side. That's the left-hand side. He's going from left to right. Just going really wide line now, almost stalling as he came out, but starting to put the pressure on now. That gap is starting to open up. It's not substantial enough yet to worry the riders behind, but they won't want to let that go. Great ride here by Emil Verstringen at the moment. Verstringen definitely on one of his better rides. 21st in the series standings coming in. And Verstringen, his best position in the World Cup this year so far, a 12th place. And that was back in round number 3 in Dendermonde. Really interesting difference there between Lars van der Haar on his way around and the wheel he was following. Just keeping an eye on Ronhard and Kuhn coming up this bank. Then it's Van der Poel. Lars van der Haar making his way up, then behind him is Ali Isabet, who doesn't have the power to go over the top that time round, just choosing to jump off and maintain the momentum, try and keep that speed. So Isabet in 6th place on the wheel of Nieuwenhuis, who's right on the wheels in front. You can just see at the moment Kuhn, Van der Poel and Verstringen all chasing this man. It's Kuhn's turn to go in to the pit this time round. He takes the bike quickly, hands off the dirty bike, picks up that clean bike. Where's he going to come out here? Where will he drop in 2 positions? Just going to be just in front of a very fast moving Ellie Isbeth. I think he's on the chase. I think he's aware that both Nice as well as Van der Haar are behind him, and he's going to want to try and move up across and not bring them through. Sitting in the draft, trying to take advantage of hiding behind another rider. It's not always going to make much difference, but every little bit can count, and you certainly don't want to give that incentive. Now he's a bit dives across to the side here. He is the rider with the white helmet, the white shoulders, and the red midriff here. He's all over that bike at the moment. Meanwhile, you can just see Lars van der Haar comes through in the Dutch Champs jersey. Our camera's tracking back here. At the moment, Thibaut Nice just off the back of that group, currently sitting in 9th position. It's his teammate who's in the lead, who comes around alongside the wall here, drops down into the old moat. The moat being filled in now full of gravel rather than being full of water. They're going to make the riders of the water originally going right up to the edge of the chateau all the way round. Race leader now being pursued. Ellie is a bit that charge through that race field complete now in front of Van der Poel. He's leading that charge now. He's going to want to get on to the heels. He knows the danger of letting Pin Ronhard go clear. Ronhard with a win in round number 3. He took a win in the last round as well. Ellie Isabet, his last win was in round number 4. Oh, Kuhn, after that initial acceleration, he's looking like he's just paying the price a little bit. He's got to recuperate. And whilst they're doing that, a little bit of a dab there from Pim Ronhard, from Baloise Trek Lions, that just carrying so much speed down around here. Very, very quick, just slides, corrects that. You can just see the track left by that back wheel sliding out on that camber, carrying plenty of pace, so over the top. You can see the rush, you can see the deep mud as you come around the tree there, just searching out the grip at the side. 9 seconds on our screens at the moment showing as they come around into towards the hurdles. It's a 7-lap race confirmed, so it means that we are coming towards the end of lap 2 of 7. We've currently got just over 16 minutes on the clock, and you can see the gap from our race leader, Pim Roja, to second place. Ellie Isabit, the series leader, taking the tight line up against the edge there. So at the moment, Isabit trying to close the gap down, but the race leader goes through, and he is through the line at 17 minutes covered over the 2 laps, so 17 minutes of time for 2 laps, 5 laps to go. Chasing Group 5 riders behind, a little bit of a gap back to Verstringer and to Camp, who are chasing hard at the moment. They've got some work to do, though. That gap for our race leader going to be really critical. Thibaut takes a look over his shoulder at the moment. He's in no man's land really at the moment. He is currently sitting in 9th place. He's got Van der Bosch, Svik, Adams, Visscher, Dubau behind Joshua Dubau, having a raised start. The rider who is top 5 in the mountain bike standings in the XC being lifted up through the grid a little bit higher than his cyclo-cross ranking would have allowed, and that is the movement just because he's such a talented rider, and at the moment trying to make the most of that inside the top 15. So the cowbell's ringing. You can just see those dips across the trenches there, across the depressions in the field. We go from running along them to running across them, and you can just see making the way in through the gardens. Once upon a time, having a sunken pond in the middle, not anymore. These gardens now grassed over and being used for this transfer to come across towards the next section, so away from that start finish and heading out into towards the Woodland and Lake section before we return back around the chateau and back towards VIP, the planks, the hurdles, and into the finish line to complete a lap. At the moment, your race leader coming around the turns, coming down in towards a bit almost directly opposite the key part of the chateau, which you can see in the background. So Nieuwenhuis at the moment, the nearest rider to Ellie is a bit Koen, and Van der Haar looking to make the most of staying out, not going in. Van der Putte, Verstringer and Camp coming through, and Camp losing more ground to the back wheel of Verstringer at the moment. Well, quickly recovered there, that corner. He came in pretty quick. It took him right to the outside. Be interesting to see how the next 2 riders approach that. Nieuwenhuis already off very early, choosing to be the master of his own destiny. I think they're really interesting watching Van der Putte charge around the outside. Get off and run. Why would I want to do that? So the gap showing us 11 seconds. It's only to 2 riders. Ellie Isbit to Joris Nieuwenhuis, the 2 behind. Van der Haar comes charging back up onto the heels of Nieuwenhuis, his teammate. They'll be forwarded by that Netherlands jersey. You've got Nieuwenhuis and you've got Van der Haar, teammates of the rider out front, Pim Roja. They're not going to chase down their teammate, I'm sure. Now let's take a little look around this left-hand turn. This is Nice. Oh, a little bit of a slide and they stumbled. The bike went away, so he went down there. You could just see not getting much grip. It certainly looked like the shoes starting to clog as well. So the rider's shoes having studs on the front of them and they're generally thinner and slightly more pointed than you'd find, say, a football stud, if that's your sport of choice, or rugby. They're a very pointy stud designed to grip in, and the riders will change those for blades. They will change those for slightly bigger studs, dependent on the conditions and their personal preference, what's going to give them the most grip and what is going to give them the pace. But you still can find around them. They're covered in mud, but they do allow you that little bit of advantage in terms of traction. The chase riders are already on the limit, rattling the camera as they come around that corner. The chase, the work having to be done by Eli Isabit, and he's going to be aware. He's got 2 teammates of the race leader on his shoulder. So if Isabit brings them back up to the race leader, I expect to see Lars van der Haar or Joris Nieuwenhuis try and go over the top and go clear, but at the moment Pim Rojas showing no sign of weakening up at the front. That time gap, and the last time check coming into us in the commentary box, 11 seconds between the race leader. You can see a look across by Eli Isabit, just a little twitch of the eyes to his right or left as it came through. So Rohan really smooth around that right-hand turn there. It's not often that we see all the transition sections, and these transition sections where you're going from a really slow stop to a really fast area of the course often can be make or break. Carry your speed through there, through those transition sections well, and you actually can make up a lot of time. They're not as stop-start, and it's about carrying momentum, carrying speed, making sure that you don't lose too much ground. A shake of the head by Verstringer there across the pit. I think there was a question, did he want a bike? Pim Rohan, though, at the front here, still using his shows, just correcting the movement of the bike behind Isabit with a little bit of a gap to Nieuwenhuis, who's going to try and charge back onto his wheel. Van der Haar goes for a slightly wider line, takes a little bit of a look up the inside there. That's straight back on to the wheel of Nieuwenhuis. And Van der Haar, now a little bit of a push there. Is this Van der Haar putting in a little bit of an attack as it came out of camera shot there? It certainly looked like he was putting the pressure on. Was it a response to a move by Isabit? I think Van der Haar had taken the lead behind in terms of putting himself between Pim Rohan, our race lead, and Eli Isabit. Will have a little look back, see whether that has worked out in his favour. But Pim Rohan onto the stairs. And then it's going to be that U-turn and drop back down into the Old Merton alongside the Chateau. So it is Van der Haar, then Isabit, then Nieuwenhuis at the moment as they come up those steps, and I suspect that Lars van der Haar is not going to be going flat out to chase his teammate. There will be words, I'm sure, if he does. What he's going to look for is for a gap to open between him and Eli Isabit naturally, just because he has the front, he can see where he's going. Pim Rohan, interesting line, goes wide, avoids a deep rut at the top of that section. He goes wide over the top, tries to carry as much speed and almost makes it back up over the bank there. Van der Haar, well, he's foot out on that corner, and that's going to be familiar to a number of people after the preceding race. And meanwhile, looks like oh, look at this, it's a right attack. That's not going to be a popular move there. They're both fighting position there, and Jens Adams and Thibaut Nice. And that's going to result in a conversation, I suspect, at the end of this race. Rubbing his riding. Anyone who tells you that cycling is a non-contact sport generally hasn't watched cyclo-cross, cycle speedway, BMX, and pretty much anything else in between, because generally you do find yourself bumping into everybody else on the way through. But that was didn't look like the most easiest of moves there. And then I think 2 riders, 1 space not happening now. What's interesting was that Isabit bumping in to the barriers. Look, he's just shaking that hand there. Now, may well be we're going to see a replay of that. Didn't look like Isabit was particularly happy. He went in, he's managed to hold the bike there, but he did go diagonally a little bit more than normal. Let's take a little bit of a look back now. Isabit on the left-hand side there. He's really tight on the post. Oh, he's got to move across there. Just takes a look at the hand. Now, was that shaking mud off, or was that hitting at the side? He was certainly really tight. Couldn't quite see the posts on there. It didn't look like the sort of impact that will take you down. He's definitely got mud all over his hands. He's got mud all over his face. Nelly is a bit without glasses on. It's not going to be protecting his eyes much. Van der Poel with those shades staying on with 4 laps left to go. So 3 laps complete, 4 to go. Verstringen and Kuhn are together at the moment. The race leader, though, clear at the front. He's not quite out of sight and out of mind. So your race leader, Pim Ronhaar, using the limits of the course, searching out the green, trying to keep that momentum moving by getting as much grip as possible where he needs it. Different technique too. Isabit is a bit tighter on that corner and up on those bankings, but Isabit has company. He's got Joris Nieuwenhuis, the rider with the number 3 on his back in the dark blue and red of Balois Trek Lions. Second wheel as you see them now. Lars van der Haar, the third of the riders in our camera shot, with the red shoulders, white and then blue of the Netherlands champion, being chased by the blue of the Alpecin squad rider, and that is Van der Poel who is chasing. But as they come around through the line, the race leader Pim Ronhaar, and you'll see the riders ticking across at the base of your screen as they came in and through the line. Those time gaps, well, they're starting to open up, and the prediction from the riders that you needed to stay up there and not lose any ground definitely starting to play out. So you can hear the boards as the bikes hit them. You can see the riders continuing to push. Pim Ronhaar continues his movement at the moment. He is on 128 points on the standings. And we're going to see that at the end of this, he's able to add another 40 points for the win to the top of his tally. Pim Ronhaar is at 128, 147. His tally is a bit. Remember, the gaps are bigger at the top of the standings, so Isabit is 147 points. It's 128 for Pim Ronhaar. Lars van der Haar 121, very close indeed. Second to third place between those two teammates. Well, it looks like we've got the ducks and geese out on the course at the moment. Pim Ronhaar managing to avoid them on the way round. Maybe there's some nice tasty worms being dug up by our riders as they come in through. I'm sure the course crew will be there very, very quickly indeed. It's not something you get to see every day in a cyclo-cross race. I was once commentating on a race in Tobago, and we actually had a flock of chickens on the course. Did happen, scarily. So enough avian trivia. Back to the riders in flight at the moment. Well, but you know what? They're not going to stay there long, are they? Surely. They're surely going to want to get out of the way. Well, they might like their canard in France, but we'd rather not see it on the TV screens here today. As our race leader continues to lead in to the woods. This is north of the chateau. This is our zigzag section. Meanwhile, Ellie is a bit pushing on the pedals, trying to open the gap back up to Nieuwenhuis. Van der Haar just dropping back a little bit. Van der Poel in the ascendancy here. Can he make it the junction? Can he get back on terms with the riders in second, third, fourth places? He's not all that far behind, and the gap now at 13 seconds between our race leader and second place. And just as importantly, the gap is opening between second and third now. Can Nieuwenhuis get some power down here in pursuit of Isabit? Isabit wasn't on form yesterday at Boom. Will he be able to push this on here today? So they come across the pontoons at the side of the lake. Ronhaar still just about holding that gap. The time checks hovering And the latest time check we're getting in the studio here is 10 seconds. The gap between Rojas, so it is starting to come down slightly now. That could just be this section of the course, but I think being encouraged on here to push back a little bit harder, being told that is a bit in pursuit behind, and Isabit has shed Van der Haar. He's in the process of shedding Nieuwenhuis now. Neither rider's going to panic. They've done this so many times before, but they know that they can't afford to lose much more time after charging onto the back wheels. Van der Putte currently in fifth, just losing a little bit of ground this time on that last section of course as they come round. We're on lap 4 of 7, so basically in that half race distance. The riders starting to lap other riders out on the course, and the riders will be pulled out from the race. The riders nicely staying out of the way. Thank you very much, sir. As the leaders come in and through. And it looks like that it's going to be Luis Klein-Sandres who gets a grandstand view of the race leaders going through there. The race leader, Pim Ronhaar, with that straight. The distance between him and a chasing Ellie is a bit in second place. Thibaut Nice at the latest, Tussle moving down outside the, well, just at 15th. It looks like the French are hovering in and around the positions. Their best rider at the moment is going to be Dubal in 12th place. Castile and Crispin in that 17th, 18th sort of position. The battle at the front, though, well, at the moment it is about Isabit's pursuit. His distancing of the teammates of this man behind. And can they get back on terms now? Straight over the top there, riding that nice and smoothly. Just saw the back wheel just move slightly behind him under the power. And that will have made that slightly slick at the top as you go up over the top there. Wide in at the top, drops down, uses gravity, takes a pretty straight line down there. Let's watch Isabit on this same section. More in the mud, less on the grass there. Very similar line taken by Nieuwenhuis. Rohan just a little bit wider. Nieuwenhuis going slightly further up the bank than Van der Haar as they exit that note section. And definitely this course cutting up. You see the depth of those ruts on that right-hand turn, then leading into this fast cambered left-hand turn. That's where we saw the incident, I think, between Nice and Adams. I'll tell you something. He's got the bit between his teeth. He can see his target in front. That gap at the last time check that we had, it had come down again. It had gone to 8 seconds. You can see it on your screens, and these two riders know exactly how far it is. So Rohan, after that initial kick, has opened up the current seconds now down to 7. They're ticking away one by one. Elie Iserbyt is clawing his way across here. How much effort has it cost him? If he does make the junction, will he pause or will he try and go straight past Pim Ronhaar? What can Ronhaar do if, of course, Iserbyt manages to make it? It's still Pim Ronhaar as they come around to complete lap 4. Here he comes, 34 minutes of racing done. This is a bit in 2. It's going to be Nieuwenhuis and Van der Haar pretty much together in 3 and 4. So 3rd and 4th place, Joris Nieuwenhuis and Lars Van der Haar, teammates of our race, our leader in front of 5th place. It's looking pretty secure now for Niels van der Putte. The last time check, it was looking at about 12 to 13 seconds between him and the rider in 6th place. We'll see if that's going to be the case. Currently showing 11 on the at the end of that lap, so coming down a little bit. The front of the race hovering at 7 seconds at the moment. The riders timed on the way through the time checks out on the course. Critical for us here watching, but of course critical for the riders as well. But they will have crew, they'll have teammates, they will have family and friends all the way out and around that course telling them how close they're getting. Are they closing? Are they getting closer together? Is the gap opening up? How are the riders looking? all information received from teammates and from team crew at the site has to be taken with a pinch of salt. There's a bit of psychological advantage trying to be given to the riders. If a rider likes to know they're closing and it's going to make them go even quicker, quite often the team crew will tell them what they want to hear rather than how it necessarily is. They're going to do whatever it takes to get that rider on board. These two need no telling what that time gap is at the moment. Nisbet really is in pursuit. He's absolutely ferocious. He's like a dog with a bone, just gnawing at it and gnawing at it. He's trying to bring that gap down. Bike up on the shoulder, quickly back on. And he's a bit in what is a little bit of an unfamiliar position for him. And just looking to see if he got clipped in correctly there on the top. It didn't look like the best of descents by him on the way down. They're a little bit more hesitant maybe than in previous laps, but it looks like he's clipped in, but that gap may well have opened up a fraction. But Isbit is solo now. Michael Van Torenhout not in action. A dislocated shoulder putting him out of action. It means that in terms of right at the front of the race, it's a bit on his own, and maybe the roles reversed a little bit this season from what it has been in previous seasons for the Pal-Sousen rider. The rider who he and his teammate used to famously work over. Lawrence Feet was often the victim of their attentions, as well as Lars van der Haan. Now the Belloise Trek Lions on a fantastic season. So here we go, look over the shoulder there by Pim Ronha. He knew he was coming, and what has Ronha done? Has he saved a little bit of energy? Has he just backed off? He knew that Isbit was coming across. Has he just continued to make it as hard as possible, or did he ease off a little bit just to get his breath back? We'll see over these next few turns. Wide line taken by Pim Ronha. He goes across all the way to the red netting at the side. Quick sprint up there by Isbit. Is he on his wheels? He is. So that junction has been made. Those two different techniques hardly making any difference to the riders. A little bit of a dab there by Ronha. Isbit just sitting on that bike, maybe a little bit more controlled round there. Both riders with the right foot down, dabbing the way around, back wheel slide. Oh, mistake! Ronha goes a little bit of a mistake, a little bit of a drop, hits the side there, hits the branding, and this has handed the leader to Isbit. Surely he's not going to turn that down. Ronha pretty much opened the door and said, come on through there, and that was not by design. Let's have a look at this again. Yep, tangles. He goes too close to the branding, gets his bar, his handlebar, clips over the top. The branding goes back up. He's stuck. Can't go anywhere. He's got to get off and get that bike moving again. And now that is going to have handed the advantage to Eli Isbit. And look at the gap. He's starting to open here. Now, really tight on that camera. Ronha comes through, rattles the edge of the course on his way round. This is where Eli is a bit experienced of being right at the front of the race. He spent more time out on the front of the race, going clear than Ronha has. It's a situation he's used to trying to make the most of the gap. You've got to take those gaps when they come. They don't always come very often. Eli is a bit at the moment. He's pushing, but look at the response from Pim Ronha here. He doesn't want to let this go. Out of the saddle there. Now Isbit puts a big kick in down there. Ronha does exactly the same, matching him almost pedal stroke for pedal stroke as they come down. No advantage gained or given away as they come round there. Different size of rider, slightly different shaped rider. That does change the dynamics of the bike. It changes the center of gravity of the rider. It changes how they ride things. It changes on the amount of force on there, the size, how they ride, the riding style. Eli Isbit, though, you can just see when he's really on it, the bike's rattling about that a little bit more. It moves a little bit more. He just really pulls through those bikes. Just that little extra percentage he's putting in. At the moment, Isbit really is starting to push now. Pim Ronha behind has got to answer that. Nieuwenhuis and Van der Haan will be told that they've got to chase, that the lead has changed at the front if they haven't seen it for themselves with the twists and turns of the course. They will know they've got to close down that gap. They've got to go up to the assistance of the long-time race leader. Another look behind by Eli Isbit. How much does he need to do? Is that I've done this many turns and I haven't yet shaken him off, or is this Well, he's still here. I've got plenty more to give. Let's give it another dig. Let's see where I'm going to put the pressure on. Knowing where to pressure here, for example. Fast section, long straight section. Is he going to get much of a gap? Is he just putting the pressure on? He takes another look. He didn't drop him on that turn. Ronhaar's coming the back across, carries plenty of speed through, and actually carrying a little bit more pace there than his bit. Goes right up onto the back wheel of the series leader, the race leader from that Palshausen squad, who leads on to the steps. Ronhaar coming right up onto his heels, though. That front wheel right in touch, and of course Ronhaar has the advantage of seeing the man he wants in front. Is a bit, he's got him behind him. You can hear the camera getting sprayed with mud as the riders drop it down into that descent. Not as solid there as it is on that last turn round up onto the bank. Is a bit just pulling open a few bike lengths here. Now it's a bit really tight around there again. Ronhaar taking his traditional wider line round there onto the bank now. Ronhaar's usually been stronger up here. Isabit this time rides it though. Ronhaar has to get off. Isabit has been running that repeatedly. This time round chooses to ride it. Has that given him enough of an advantage to open a gap? I don't think it has. That long start finish straight after the hurdles could well be telling it here, because I suspect that is where the rider behind will be able to get back on. Different techniques from these rider. You can see Ronhaar trying to use the outside line there, carrying more pace through. Riding further isn't always slower, even though it's more distance. Sometimes you can just carry that pace around, take the long, wide line. Ellie is a bit repeatedly taking the tight inside lines here. Different styles, different techniques, slightly lower centre of gravity makes it easy to take the tighter line if you're a smaller rider. Is a bit always hugging the right-hand side of those planks as he comes in, and then going diagonally across. Slightly straighter line generally from Ronhaar, but not a lot to separate them as we go in towards the latter stages of this race. This is going to be a really intriguing finale, because they can't hesitate too much, because the chasers behind will come back in to touch. Nieuwenhuis in the pedals, bunny hop in, he'll be able to drive straight out and away from those hurdles. Lars van der Haar will have to remount and then clip back in again, although the time lost getting off, dismounting and running the hurdles isn't necessarily all that great. You have generally less momentum when you're running, and you generally, not always, are slightly slower to get back up to speed. So two leaders, two chasers. The chasers just over 20 seconds behind our race leaders, who are on your screen right now. The series leader is up there. That is Ellie Isbit. So Ellie Isbit with a second in rounds 1 and 2 at Waterloo and Maas Mechelen. A fourth place in Dendermonde. A win for Ellie Isbit in Troyes. And then it was a third place in Dublin. Pim Ronhaar, a third place to Waterloo. 12th place though for him at Maas Mechelen. Not a good day at the office. And then it was a win for Pim Ronhaar in Dendermonde. It was a win for him in Dublin, but again not a great round in between. At Troyes he got a 17th place, so a much more variable season so far, although he has had more wins for Pim Ronhaar than Ellie Isbit. They're the two leaders that are on your screens at the moment. They've got two chasers behind. Lars van der Haar, who is sitting in third place in the series, is chasing along with Joris Nieuwenhuis. Nieuwenhuis a third place in round number 4 at Troyes, and not making the trip to Dublin, just knocking his points tally down a little bit. So be improving on that today for sure. At the moment of the riders up in the top of the standings, Lawrence Speak currently, as they came into the race, in 4th place in the standings, losing ground. Thibaut Nice losing ground, Ryan Camp losing ground. Van der Poel on a good ride, he should move up through the standings as well. Nieuwenhuis on a good ride as well, and that's going to push him back up those standings. And those will be the main winners and losers, but of course the battle for the top spot is going to unfold between these riders now. it should be Ellie Isabit. If the positions were to stay as they are now, with Isabit in the lead and Ronhaar in there, the lead from first to second place would open up. It would close it down if those positions were reversed, but it should still leave the lead with Isabit. But I think he's not content with getting a second place. He'll want another win, and he's starting to pressure again. He came through that pit, he took a look behind, and he's opened up a bigger gap now. So our screens are showing a couple of seconds on the timing. Not sure it is a couple of seconds. Oh, he came in hot into that corner, both feet out at it before he had slowed right off there. Quick jump off the bike, press the eject button, jump off it, and then get back on again. I think that gap is near about 5 seconds now between these riders. It doesn't look like 2 seconds to me as they come around the turn away from the lake, and he's starting to shake on the bike. He's moving his shoulders. There's more body being used to power that bike along. He's looking a little bit more tired than he was initially. Not sure the foot is going down a bit more than before. Hard to tell that because there's so many places where it's used to stabilize, to push yourself along on this course. Well, Ronhaar just took a look across behind him. Lars van der Haar leading Nieuwenhuis into this hairpin turn section. Ellie Isabit with the lead at the moment, and certainly with the drive, with the impetus. He's looking at the rider who's fired up. It looks to me like Pim Ronhaar at the moment going through a bad patch and just having lost that lead and then losing ground. We're on lap 6 of 7. As Isabit timed this to perfection. And he's going to go away now and then have a lap to make the most of that gap without having to take too many chances. He'll want to increase his time gap. So down onto the bridge. Last time through here, the two riders were locked pretty much together. There was a little bit of a gap, but nothing too drastic. It's the full length of that pontoon bridge over the top, and pretty much half of that turn as well now. That gap's starting to open up. I think we're going to be heading definitely for a sort of the 10-second marker at the moment. And that is between first and second place. Pim Ronhaar to Lars van der Haar is the gap, second to third, and then it's van der Haar back to Nieuwenhuis. And I think van der Haar is similar distance behind second place. The second place is to first at the moment, but it's changing with this big move here, this big push in towards the finale for Ellie Isabit. Van der Putte makes his way onto the bridge. This gap really has opened out. Van der Putte, on our last time we got a time check through, I think it was about 45 seconds down. Stringer just looking across, seeing where the riders are, who's likely to be coming up behind on that section. As you come over the bridge, you can take a look back and actually see the riders coming in behind as you go over that pontoon. And coming into sight behind Pim Ronhaar comes Lars van der Haar. Now, van der Haar, one of the slightly older riders in the cyclocross scene, experienced rider, a man who, for whom on my commentary notes we have to go back, we have to add extra pages just to get back to the time when Lars van der Haar first stood on a World Championship podium. I'll tell you something, he's looking like this is going to be one of his best seasons for a long time. Van der Haar sitting in third place in the series, and at the moment the series standings are reflected by the positions on the course at the moment. In one in the standings and number one on the course at the moment, Ellie Isabit. 2, Pim Ronhaar. 3, Lars van der Haar. That's the order they are in the standing. That's the order they are on the course as we are heading towards the end of lap 6, the penultimate lap, and heading out onto 7. Will it be the same? So a warmer day here at the World Cup than it was yesterday. Ellie Isabit looking like he's preferring these warmer weather. He notoriously dislikes the colder weathers, when it's really freezing, when it's cold, it's wet, it's the frost, the ice is down. How that will translate when we go to Tabor for the World Championships in February, at the start of February. Well, we'll have to see a lot of racing between now and then. This round number 6 of the World Cup. Our lead riders about to come round to complete lap number 6 of 7. And when they complete round number 6, they'll be heading off for round number 7. That's next weekend. That's at Val di Sole in Italy. Elisabeth will be looking to have extended his lead as we move on. Now, a number of these riders haven't taken a break, so as you can see at the moment, the rider who didn't go to Dublin was Lars van der Haar. The rider, if you were to look on those standings, he's in 3rd place despite missing 1 round so far. And that means that this will add to his tally. The 2 riders in front, Elisabeth and Pim Romhaar, both having completed all 5 rounds previously. Here you go, Lars van der Haar about to make contact with 2nd place as Elisabeth gets the bell. It's the last run, it's the last lap, it's the last time out and down this straight for Elisabeth. Behind him, 2nd and 3rd place are together. The long-time leader, Pim Romhaar, is joined by his teammate. These 2 riders have been fighting it out through the season. They might be teammates. They are also best mates. They room together quite often when they're out on the road, but that doesn't mean either is going to hand it across. And Lars van der Haar, the European Championships, he was going all the way to the line. Very interesting. That was out in front of us as well. We're going to see what's going to happen around the chateau here today in Normandy. Will it be Romhaar? Will it be van der Haar? Where will that move be made? Can they close down on Elisabeth? That's looking less and less likely. The gap at the moment, 24 seconds showing at the last time checked through according to my notes. So that means that at the moment it's fast approaching half a minute. Van der Haar quickly out of the saddle leg, went round, has the advantage being able to see the lines that he's approaching. Pim Romhaar, well, he really wants to fill his vision with the rider in front of him. Wants to get a little bit closer than that. That's not the sort of distance you just left, so you get a little bit of a better look. Not run into the back if something were to happen. Joris Nieuwenhuis at the moment, the rider who is in 4th place. He's got Van der Putten behind, but that gap, about 25 seconds, should be enough. Elisabeth up over the top of the bridge, drops down. Oh, a little bit of a mistake there. Did he not get his pedal in correctly, or was that a correction there? We'll see whether it continues to cause him problems. And that is the sort of problem that can cost you dear, particularly on that section. Let's have a little bit of a look. The bike just went slightly sideways, and that was enough to release it. Now, if you've got something in there that allows you to, in your shoe, that means you engage it, clips in, it might not fully engage. It means it won't 100% lock in, and that means if you go, the bike goes sideways, you might find that doesn't quite release properly. Now, maximising the chances of getting locked in means going for a new bike. He's not taking any chance. His lap times. So down on the left of your screen there, you can see just how he has played this race out. At the moment, he's still giving it absolutely everything. They're still dodging the wildlife out on course. Well, it's not all that long ago we saw the tyre wall. Will this be the new feature of the French courses where we have the wildlife out on the course? What we're going to get next? The rider's taking a look down, taking the inside line. It's nice to avoid the rut at least. And the riders are going around the rut. Now the gap starting to open up between Lars van der Haar and his teammate here. Van der Haar was chasing. He overtook the long-time leader. He knows he's got one rider in front. It's Elisabeth. It means that Van der Haar will be scoring more points than his teammate. The gap between them only 7 points coming into this round. It should push Van der Haar up into 2nd place if he can maintain this position. If Pim Romhaar can't rally and then come back and pass his teammate, that's looking less and less likely as they come up here. Romhaar still on course for a podium. And when you get tired, that's when those line choices start to become a problem. That's when you don't quite get that clipped in, where you don't quite make contact with the pedals as they come around those turns. Lars van der Haar takes that tight right-hand side, left-hand side. You can see that we have got on the screen Pim Romhaar, the chaser, in third place now, long-time leader. Van der Haar side to side there, searching out that fine line. It's a bit like walking up alongside the shore on the beach. You've got the water on one side, you've got soft sand on the other, and just where they meet, you get that firm sand. It's a bit like that on the mud here. With the grass at the side has got loads of grip, but it's very slow. You've got the slick mud in the middle, and you're looking for that fine line at the edges of it, on the margins between the deep grass and the deep mud. In between, you're going to find that roll down section, of course, where you can get the maximum speed. At the moment, Van der Haar searching that out, trying to close down on Ellie is a bit, but Ellie is a bit over that pontoon bridge. He takes a little look to his right, and the gap is opened up. Van der Haar is not in sight as he went around that right-hand turn. Van der Haar, though, has clear air between him and the riders behind. I think it's going to be a similar gap. Another look over the shoulder by Isabit here. And again, that foot just out. We're going to clip back in again. Well, the crowd applauding the race leader on the last lap. No applause will ring out for this man as well. Van Haar takes a look back, he sees his teammate coming into sight, Joris Nieuwenhuis in fourth place. Nieuwenhuis at the moment with a gap to fifth. So looking at the moment about that 30-second marker. See the difference in pace. Ellie Isbit went round there so quickly over that section of roadway, over the trackway there for unclipped right on the limit. Pim Romhaar not taking those same chances. They take a look at each other as they come round that loop. Sandwiched in between, Lars van der Haar making his way through a really muddy section here. It's been muddy pretty much all day long, while some of the rest of the course has dried out slightly. That's definitely not the case there. So here comes your race leader. It is Ellie Isabit making his way back through the side of the chateau. Guys going to drop down in towards the side of the old moat that's been filled in. Dives round that turn, out the pedals very quickly. He knows now that the opportunities for him are there. He needs to make the most of them. He doesn't want to make a mistake on any of these. Basically, it's about keeping it smooth, making the most of what's presented, but not taking any chances. Meanwhile, Lars van der Haar knows that it's going to take a major mistake from Isabit for him to get back in a touch, or a major bit of bad luck for Ellie Isbit. No problems so far for pretty much most of the race field. We've not seen anybody changing because of that, but with one lap changes and the nature of this course, I suspect that is not a bad thing, because this is a very tough course to come back from. If you did have a problem at the moment, no problems. Ellie is a bit dismounts on the first of the two ramps coming up on to the top, coming away from the chateau. Lars van der Haar in second place, more circumspect down there on that line this time round. Tight left-hand line there, goes up on to the middle of the banks on his way up as his bit comes round down the side of the lake. Continuing to take that tight inside line, picks up a rut as he comes through, then over and across towards that tree on our left-hand side. Now, how much room is he going to give the posts? Is he going to give the side of the course here? I think a little bit more this time round than when he was very close on there, causing him a problem early in the race. Past the VIP section into this tight left-hand turn, once more over the hurdles, and then two right-hand turns. He'll be able to see that finishing gantry. Both of the planks done, both of the barriers, both of those hurdles complete. He knows where the competition is. It's Lars van der Haar, and he is far enough behind now not to trouble the race leader. Great chaser through. Van der Haar working really well through the race and coming strong as the race goes on. But here he goes, high fives time. It's a professional look over the shoulder for Ellie Isabit. The Power 1000 bingo rider, the series leader, extends his lead at the top with a win here today at round of 6 in Flamanville. It's going to be a second place here in the UCI World Cup. And Lars van der Haar will come through to take away the haul of second place points. 30 points going to van der Haar, 40 points going to Ellie Isabit. So first and second in and through the line. We're looking for our third placed rider to come in. It should be Pim Romha. Oh, look at the shake of the head. That's a tired rider on his way down towards the line. It's not to be today. He's going to high-five the crowd. He's done enough to stay in third place. He was second in the series coming in. I think he's going to be in third place. He comes through, and look at that. He's just laid over those handlebars. Joris Nieuwenhuis, our fourth place rider, teammate of the two riders directly in front of him, comes in through the line, acknowledges the crowd. And the Baloise Trek Lions taking the steps on the podium, but the man they couldn't chase down was Ellie Isabit. Our riders now getting cleaned up. Not sure they need to mop themselves down, but definitely going to be a wipe down before the TV interviews on the podium as our fifth place rider comes over the line. Good ride here today by Niels van der Putten. Came into the round here today in seventh place. This will have helped his standings no end. Kevin Kuhn comes through. Kuhn, another rider who will move up 11th place when he came here in the standings. A sixth place in the race today again. Good result. And Emil Verstringer, the Creelan Corridor rider, is going to come through line. A top 10 for him today. It's going to be a seventh place. So that's his best result of the World Cup so far. Next in behind him will come Ryan Camp. Ryan Camp comes, looks up at the clock, sees how far behind the leaders. Just over 1 minute separating him. 2 minutes separating him from the race leader. The leader coming through in 1 hour and 9 seconds. 2 hours 16 for Jens Adams, the rider just crossing the line there. So Jens Adams ahead of Joran Verscheur, who comes over the line. Verscheur getting to his points at total 14th when he came in today. Again, another rider who will move up and puts his teammate on the shoulder. In fact, it's going to be 3 teammates in a row, because immediately behind him will be Van den Bosch, and then I think it should be Connie van Kessel who's in a sprint. It's not. It's going to be, in fact, it's Creelan Corridor's rider Lawrence Fick who's just gone over the top of Van Kessel, and then immediately behind Connie van Kessel it's Lander Locks coming through. 3 minutes down on the race leader. Locks coming through the finishing line in 14th place. The race leader, though, no doubting him and his abilities this season. He's a rider who really is in there. He's unlocked the top of the confidence, and it's there. He's got it. He said he can win a race, one race a weekend comfortably. Well, do you know what? He did that today. He's taken a win here today. What a win for Ellie Isabit. He knows when he has put on a masterclass. He comes through ahead of Lars van der Haar. Another good ride by Lars on his way through to that second place, accelerating up and taking away second place in round number 6. And our long-time race leader, the man who took it on from the gun, Pim Romha, really has started off fast, faded a little bit. It wasn't to be 2 in a row for him, but the man who's won 2 rounds already, rounds 3 and 5, not to be his day, but it will be a podium. And it does make 2 Baloise Trek Lions riders on the podium. Let's hear from Lars van der Haar.
Take the second spot. What is the story of your race?
I was struggling a little bit in the first lap to find my my rhythm. Once I had it, I tried to go as fast as I could to the front, but Ailey was a little bit faster than I. Luckily, I could get back to Ailey, and then I tried to give Pim as much seconds as I could, but yeah, I couldn't get constantly in front of Ailey, and yeah, in the end, he was just, I think, the best today. And then it took me again a lap to recover from trying to get in front of Ailey.
And then I felt really strong again, and I just thought maybe I can do a second or a third place.
Did you think one moment in the end I can bridge the gap on Eli?
No. He had it under control, I think.
Je hebt bijna een eind aan haar einde gebracht, Lars. Maar je was wel net lucide genoeg om er netjes voorbij te rijden. Dan heb je dat beleefd, dat moment?
Ja, het was 2 keer. Het is nog een keer gebeurd. Laatste ronde stond hij er ook weer. Ik hoorde wel wat mensen wat roepen, maar ja, je weet natuurlijk niet wat. Je verwacht ook geen eend. Ik ben wel blij dat ik er omheen ben gereden. Want meer om niet te vallen natuurlijk. En die eenden kunnen er natuurlijk ook niks aan doen.
Nee, dat is een vreemd moment toch, hè, denk ik, als je dat plots ziet opduiken na een bocht.
Ja, we hebben al wel eens honden meegemaakt. En nu eenden. Dus...
Liever een eend, toch?
Ja, liever wel een eend, ja.
En nu op stage?
Ja, dinsdag vertrek ik met Pim naar Mallorca.
Ja. Voel je dat nodig is? Want je blijft natuurlijk uitstekende resultaten neerzetten.
Ja, het is heel hard nodig. Het is echt nodig om toch weer terug wat conditie op te doen, maar ook weer straks wat frisheid. Ik merk dat je nu heel veel op karakter en conditie aan het doen bent. En er komen straks hele frisse jongens bij. En om ook nog maar iets te proberen te volgen, zullen we toch wel wat moeten gaan trainen.
Okay. Train goed, daar geniet ervan, van de warmte. Dankjewel.
Well, really interesting interview with Lars van der Haar there, and when he went away from English, saying he nearly took out the duck on the way through, but it wasn't going to help him. I think he would have needed slightly bigger wings to catch Eli Isabit. This time round, he wasn't going to get them from the duck at the side. Great ride by him. Closing down after finishing off his battle with Joris Nieuwenhuis, going past his teammate, long-time leader Pim Rohan, going up into the lead. And due a break, Lars van der Haar riding the first 4 rounds of the World Cup, missing out on the run into Dublin. And it'll be very interesting when he takes his break and starts to rebuild for the rest of the season where he ends up. Great to see Lars there with Eli Isabit. They've both raced each other for so long now. They know what the race is all about, and probably exchanging duck avoidance tactics in case it happens again out on the course. So your full results confirmed for the top 10. Eli Isabit finishing the race in 1 hour and 9 seconds, as you can see. Kevin Kuhn in there, the only rider from the unrider, not from the Netherlands or from Belgium, coming in 6th position. The Netherlands and Belgium's domination of the top 10 continuing onwards. Let's look at the race as it unfolded. Eli's a bit right on the heels of Lars van der Haar, but it was a quick kick off from the line by Van der Putten, but Pim Rohan very quickly moving up onto the wheels of Kevin Kuhn and then off in to the race lead. Van der Haar and Isabit having to chase in the early stages of the race. Joris Nieuwenhuis taking a roll on the floor whilst up in contention, however. Very quickly back up on to his feet and back with a clean bike. Van der Putten in pursuit with Kuhn, but Eli Isabit really starting to move up. He accelerated past Nieuwenhuis, past a very strong Verstringer as they come through the mid-section of the race. Pim Rohan, though, looking like he had it pretty much under control, but Eli Isabit a presence chasing the teammates of our leader behind. And Eli Isabit looking very focused indeed. So Isabit started to make his move up on to the wheels of Pim Rohan, but it was a mistake by Rohan. Gets tangled, he gets caught just on the edge of the branding. In fact, I think it was his pedal that clipped the seam in the branding there, and that took him into second place. And Isabit is never one to turn down the chance, to turn down the offer of taking the race lead. Away he went, and that was his opportunity behind. Van der Haar starting to distance Nieuwenhuis, coming up on to the wheel of his teammate. He didn't stay there for long because Lars van der Haar, clearly the rider in the ascendancy as they came in towards the back end of the race. Eli Isabit untouched, arms in the air. He didn't need to catch any wings. He had all the speed in his wheels today and was absolutely flying. He extends his lead at the top of the series standings. Lars van der Haar comes through. It's a second place for him here in France, in Flamanville, and his teammate was chasing and stayed clear because it was Pim Rohan, our long-time leader. exhausted after a long race at the front. Holds on for third place here, and he'll be on our podium very shortly. Well, the granite face of the chateau looking out across the racecourse here, and here are the standings. Lars van der Haar jumps above his teammate Pim Romhaar, exchanging third for second and second for third. Nieuwenhuis in fourth, Camp in fifth. Svik ahead of Nice. Van der Putten with a good ride there, sitting above Van den Bosch, and Kevin Kuhn rounding out the top 10, but all chasing Elie Isbit, who extended his lead at the top of the series standings, and the gap there now 24 points. And if you want 24 points or more, you've got to be top 3 in the races. So he basically has a podium-sized gap between him and the nearest rider to him, Lars van der Haar.
Elie Isbit, you wanted to win this weekend, and you did. How do you feel?
Yeah, very good, but very tired. My start was really bad, and I had to go through the whole field to get in front. But then after 30 minutes, I find the good lines on the track. So yeah, I'm pretty happy that I could grow into the race and do a good final set of laps.
And you take important points as well for the GC.
Yeah, it was very important to me to win today. Also, to win in leader jersey is not easy, so I have a nice picture again to post tonight.
Was je er gerust in dat je hem nog ging pakken, Pim Romhaar?
Ik bleef zo 2 ronden hangen op 14 seconden. Zeker met Lars en Joris die even hun ding kwamen doen, maar dat heeft mij toch wel geprikkeld om nog iets rapper te rijden. Dus ik denk dat dankzij Lars en Joris is dat ik nog naar Pim toe rijd. Dus ja, daar moet ik hen ook voor bedanken.
Dan maakt hij een foutje, maar dat is natuurlijk van vermoeidheid, hè? Omdat hij voelt dat jij aan het naderen bent en in zijn wiel ging.
Ja, dat had ik niet gezien dat hij een foutje maakte, maar ik zet wel goed druk en ik denk dat ik altijd wel iets rapper en rapper reed. Ik zag ook dat Pim de balken niet sprong, dus daar won ik altijd wel ook een klein beetje. En dan als hij erbij komt, ja, is het gewoon direct erop en erover gaan. Ik denk dat ik in het bos bij het ponton net iets betere lijnen had. Altijd groen opgezocht en daar wel het verschil kon maken.
Veel renners hebben wat last aan de rechterhand. Die zijn tegen dat paaltje gereden. Je bent er ook tegen aangeknald, denk ik, hè?
Ja, rechts en links.
Allebei zelfs. Toon eens, ja.
Bij mij is het nog iets aan de rechterkant ook. Dus ja, het was glad en de paaltjes stonden heel dichtbij. En ja, af en toe deed het wel pijn, maar goed, het hoort erbij.
Maar liever een paaltje dan een eend omverknallen waarschijnlijk.
Ja, dat was eigenlijk bijna het geval ook. Gelukkig voor die eend had ik het goede spoor, want anders zat ik er los op. Dus, ze bleven ook heel de tijd zitten, dus het was een aangename toeschouwers.
Geen ding, hoe blijf je dat doen en volhouden om bijna alles te rijden en ook nog resultaten neer te zetten? Voldoende recuperatiedrank drinken, dat uiteraard, maar hoe doe je dat?
Ja, vooral proberen in de week toch die frisheid te behouden. Ik ga heel veel naar de massage, kine. Mijn vrouw doet ook superveel voor mij, dus ik leef in het seizoen een beetje als een koning. En ik denk dat dat de enige manier is om fris aan het weekend te beginnen. En gisteren zei ik al dat ik voelde dat ik net niet mee kon in het begin en dan toch aan vandaag dacht. Want ik heb mij in het weekend van Niel Dendermonde de zaterdag zo kapot gereden dat ik toch een klein beetje ben beginnen nadenken. Dus het is soms de dagoverwinning opofferen om een beetje te tellen in de klassementen. Maar het is eigenlijk het weekend zoals ik gepland had, dus ben ik heel tevreden. En natuurlijk, vooraf is het makkelijk om te zeggen om zondag te proberen winnen en het dan nog doen is des te mooier.
Dat is heel mooi, proficiat. Geniet ervan, Elie.
Ja.
Well, every single rider interviewed so far has talked about the ducks on the course. And if you imagine how many rides, how many races, how many training rides, how much time you spend on the bike, you need something that's going to tell you exactly what each race was. And I'll tell you something they're never going to forget, that are they managing to miss them on the way round as well. So definitely not just going to be the action that they remember, but also dodging the wildlife and another win. And interesting that the pressures of getting the pictures, of getting the social media, well, they're there, and he's going to have a one, taking the win as the series leader in this year's Pal Thousands jersey. Elie Isbit, your race winner, and extending his lead at the top of the table as we move towards the halfway point, and that is going to be our next round because we move from Flamanville to Val di Sole is going to be next week.
Close to victory. In the end, it was a second spot. How do you feel, and what's the story of your race?
Yeah, it was third spot in the end, but I was totally done. 2 laps when I was riding strong lap times. Every lap 8:35. So I was not feeling that great, but my basic tempo was high. And I saw that Eli had a bad start, so I wanted to push from the beginning. Then 3 laps before the end, he sprinted to my wheel, and I tried to stay with him, but I was done.
You made a fault actually. You went into the barriers. Was it because of the fact that you had to dig so deep?
Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't feeling great at the end. When Eli came at me, I jumped the barriers, but that was a little bit tricky. Yeah, he was just stronger. I'm happy that I'm third, but yeah, I almost fell off the podium.
Opnieuw op het podium natuurlijk. Hè. Bijna was je naast het podium, zeg je uiteindelijk nog een derde plaats. Je hebt weer meegestreden en mee koers gemaakt. Verbaas je jezelf dat je in zoveel opeenvolgende wereldbekerkoersen zo nog niveau haalt?
Ik heb me vandaag wel verbaasd, want ik voelde me vanochtend eigenlijk niet super. Ik had een beetje last van mijn rug en ja, ik weet niet, de power zat er niet echt op. Maar mijn basistempo was heel hoog. Ik reed strakke rondetijden. Alleen Eli, ja, die snokt dan naar me toe. Ik wist dat Eli vandaag heel goed ging zijn, want die heeft gisteren volgens mij niet 100% gegeven. Maar ja, op het moment dat hij bij mij komt, probeer ik mentaal even op te laden en in zijn wiel te blijven. Maar ja, zijn tempo was gewoon te hoog. En ja, ik ben blij dat ik nog op het podium sta, want ik viel de laatste 200 serieus stil.
Goed, uiteindelijk nog die derde plaats. Opvallend momentje dat al een paar keer besproken is geweest hier. Plots staan daar eenden vlak voor jullie op het parcours. Hoe heb jij dat moment beleefd?
Ja, het was een beetje de stervende zwaan. Hè? Nee,
Zo was het. Ja. Het waren wel eenden, maar goed.
Ja, ik draaide die bocht in en ik zie in één keer 2 eenden zitten. En Kwik, Kwek en Kwak die stonden op het parcours. En Kwik had geluk, want ik reed er bijna overheen. En de laatste ronde stonden ze er weer. Ja, die hebben ook een mooie dag bij de cross gehad, denk ik.
En nu naar Spanje op stage?
Ja, dinsdag vertrek ik met Lars naar Mallorca. Even 2 weken goed trainen. Even relaxen, een beetje in de zon liggen. En ja, dan kunnen we er in Namen weer tegenaan.
Succes daarmee en proficiat nog eens met die niet tweede, maar derde plaats.
Well, there they are. That's the reason I'm going to remember that was a close shave. Probably one of the closest shaves for them. I love the fact that Dutch just keep on eating. They're just going for the words chewed up by the riders, and you didn't need me or anybody who was much better at Dutch than me to tell you that the quack bit in the interview was indeed talking about the ducks. Now, back to the racing. He did say they're feeling absolutely shattered. Nearly fell off the podium, speaking metaphorically, of course, because they have yet to go to our World Cup podium. But he's going to be looking forward to that break, heading off to Mallorca as we go into the mid-season. And that is going to see a change, no doubt, when we come through the other side of Val di Sole and head in towards Namur, Antwerp, in towards Havre, as well as Holston-Hoven, Benidorm and Hogerheide, which is the race that rounds out season. The riders having to make sure that they get their effort right. You can't stay at top form all the way through a race season. It takes an incredible athlete to do that, and you can often pay the price after the season is done and into the next one. So the riders taking breaks at various different times, and the Belwars Trek Alliance London is using it to put that in after this race. Now, the riders up on to the stage. They're going to be heading out front of stage for our men's elite podium here in Flamanville, and we will see our top 3 riders out front of stage somewhere where they're all very familiar with. They've all been out there this season. They've all taken a win so far this season, with 1 for Ellie Isabit, 1 for Lars van der Haar, and 2 for Pim Romhaar before they came here today. I'm loving the fact that they're just keeping a check. How many times have these 3 been out here? So, ladies and gents, it is your podium ceremony for the UCI Cyclo-cross World Cup at Flamanville. Taking away 3rd place here today is Pim Romhaar from the Belwars Trek Alliance. Taking 2nd place, it is his teammate Lars van der Haar. Both Dutchmen either side of the rider who takes a top spot. It is Ellie Isbit, and he takes his tally now to 2 wins in the series. 2 wins, 2 second place, 1 third and 1 fourth in the 6 rounds that we have had, and extends his lead at the top of the series. So, 3rd place, right the way across. The easy way to remember it when you stood on there is that second place is the right-hand person of first, or the right-hand man to first place man. When you're stood on there, in my case, not that I ever got anywhere near the top of the podium, it was the Lantern Rouge for me time and time again. So, Lars van der Haar taking second place. Great to see he's having an absolutely superb season and seems to be back heading towards his best. But Ellie is a bit, well, we know he's good through the season. We know he starts his season well. Can he finish off the season in the same style? We will remain to see if that's going to be the case. But your top three here today: Pim Romhaar in third place, the second place for Lars van der Haar, and top spot, your race winner of round 6 of the UCI Cyclo-cross World Cup here in Flamanville. It is Ellie Isabit. So the confetti cannons being fired and onto the stage. The riders presented with their prizes here. Great race here in Flamanville, and another great venue. The chateau owned by the town and playing host to multiple World Cups, to the French Cup as well. What a great venue for the racing. And great to see the riders in action. The series leader's jersey retained by Ellie Isabit. He pulls on a new extra layer as the temperature starts to drop in France. And no doubt we will see another cold night. Our riders, though, absolutely on fire today. And Ellie Isabit will take the series lead away. Will he defend it in Val di Sole? Well, I think it's a brave man who doesn't, and prepares to gamble that away, but may well be that he chooses not to engage with the ice and snow that's down in the Alps, the whole of north of Europe, in a very cold spell over the last week or so. So Ellie Isabit, your race winner, centre stage. It won't be long before we hear the national anthem being played. So congratulations to our riders on the podium today in our men's race. Pim Romhaar in third, Lars van der Haar in second, your race winner, and your series leader who extends his lead at the top of the standings, Ellie Isabit. Great racing here in Flamanville. Our two superstar ducks will probably be given celebrity status. Maybe they'll be roaming the grounds to the end of their natural days, you never know. Maybe they'll make it onto the selfie, which will make its way on social media. Please do give all of our riders, our competitors and our teams a follow. It's all valuable for them in their careers and the support of the sport. A massive thank you to everybody who's made the racing happen on site. A huge organising team in Flamanville, and of course the town of Flamanville and its 2,000 residents supporting the race and helping put that on in the grounds of the chateau that is all owned by the town council. Fantastic racing, great course, real great action. Now the series will move on from here. We have a further set of rounds coming up, which kick off with Val di Sole on the 10th of December. That's 1 week's time. We then move to Namur. It's been great putting words to the action. My name's Matt Payne. You'll be with Ant McDrosson next time out in Italy. But from me, stay safe. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.